Alright guys, welcome back again to Pimp Destro, back again with another action figure review. Sorry again for the little bit of the break in between videos. I've been very busy at work and doing some school on top of that, and it's just been really hard to balance my hobbies and the reviewing of action figures, but I am trying to pump them out as much as I possibly can without getting burnt out over my hobbies. So today what we are going to be doing is going back to the Legacy line and actually reviewing the Transformers Legacy Evolution Metalhawk. And here you can see this is a newer figure. We did actually review the Insecticon Shrapnel in the previous video, and I really enjoyed that figure. That was also part of the Evolution line. But now we're going to get into an Autobot of the Voyager scale, and that is Metalhawk. On the front here, as you can see, we are going to the new Evolution packaging, which is more blues than purples. And obviously the team that handles the box arts at Hasbro, I think, are just experts at what they do, because every time the product always looks really good, and I commend them, and to continue to have them go above and beyond like they already have been. But on the front here, we do have the open where we can see the figure in his robot mode. We have some box art of his vehicle mode, which is a jet. He is a flying character. On the side here, we do have some box art of the actual robot mode. Sorry about the glare there, guys. On the back, we have the render of the robot and vehicle mode. It does take 18 steps to actually get this guy completely transformed. And again, what we're going with these evolutions is the Evo Fusion. Shrapnel had like where you could turn his weapons into like a sniper or a rifle. And here it looks like you can turn on the little jet from 2 pistols into like a blaster or kind of a drone. So we'll talk about it more once we get it out. And then on the side here, we do have some more just basic Transformers Legacy Kingdom box art, which looks really cool. And on the top, again, we do have our QR code, which thank you again, guys over working on Transformers, because I love when you do that. All right, guys, we are gonna get Metalhawk actually out of his packaging and get him reviewed. So please stay tuned. All right, guys, now that we have Metalhawk actually out of the package, this guy is pretty sweet. He's pretty towering, but he is a Voyager class Transformers Legacy figure, so he is, of course, going to stand a little bit taller than your general kind of scale figures. He does kind of compare to a couple of the other Voyagers. I am going to do a size comparison here in a minute, but just let's get back to the figure. The figure is pretty cool. He does consist of these like dark blues, navy blues, pretty brilliant reds, the kind of, it's like a gray, very light gray, and then of course is like, I would say gold, and then looks really nice. The head itself looks really awesome. I do really like the head of Metalhawk, and I think it does kind of capture the figure as best as it can. And overall, the figure is pretty sleek looking. I do really enjoy him. The one big gripe with this guy that, man, it is so glaring, and it bothers me, and this doesn't normally bother me about these figures, is the gaps. And I know you can go on eBay and buy them for like anywhere from about $5 to $10, but the gaps on his forearms are just ridiculous. If you can see right there, it's huge, and it's kind of distracting, I would say. That's where his arms or his hands go in. They fold in when he does transform. And then on the back here, when you do buy that kit that I was talking about on eBay, you'll get the ones for the back. I'm not as worried about the back of the actual Metalhawk, but the front, like for instance, if he has his sword out like this, it's kind of distracting. But overall, not bad. The figure has pretty great articulation. His knees go back pretty far. No problems with his feet. General standard articulation. Nothing's really hindered that badly. And also his little blasters here. So he does come with a couple of accessories. That being his 2 blasters that can actually come together, and I already kind of had them together. They can act as kind of 2 pistols for him, that you can put in each hand, or you can bring them together. They turn into a little, to me it kind of looks like a drone or something, or a dual blaster.
Looks like something that could definitely fly away. Looks really neat. And then he also comes with his titanium sword, which this is, I guess, the other big gripe about this figure, and kind of with the line of the Transformers itself. And I know the Transformers team does a great job in tooling these action figures and getting them to comic and cartoon likeness. But when I noticed the titanium sword that he has, or titanium saber, I was just a little bit, I don't know, disappointed, I guess. I do like the detail on it. The molding looks really great. But if you can see, I'm not sure if you can see that. Let's see. If you see there's like a cable that runs up to the actual blade from the, what do you call that? The hilt? Or I'm not sure. But it's in between that. It looks like there should be a gap. And it's just kind of just plastic right there. And it doesn't really look that great. And then, of course, the saber itself is all one color. Yes, I could paint this. But I don't really want to. If I paint this, it's going to look really out of place on this guy that looks really clean and, you know, consisting of basically 4 colors, and they're all pretty solid. But if I had to take a gripe on the figure itself, that would be one of them. But other than that, the figure is pretty awesome. And normally we start these reviews off in the robot mode with the actual QR code, but we're doing it second here. So if you scan the QR code that's on top of the box, you're going to see a picture of Metalhawk. He is an Autobot, and his alt mode, as I mentioned earlier, is a jet. His function is a space commander. He is one of the leaders of the Autobots, which that being the Pretenders, and he is from the G1 universe. Signature weapon, as mentioned, is the titanium saber. It is capable of piercing through any substance with incredible ease. A little bio on Metalhawk is he is a fearless leader of the Autobot Pretenders, tirelessly fighting to spread freedom throughout the universe. And he does have a 9 strength, a 10 intelligence, a 10 speed, and a 9 projectile or damage. But overall, I do really like this figure and the character itself. I think he's going to kind of stand out. I also looked on the Transformers.fandom or whatever, and couldn't find too much on the guy, other than he, you know, looked up to Starscream and, you know, actually had a little bit of a dispute with him in a fight, a conflict. But let's get this guy compared next to a couple figures. I'm going to pull out a couple Voyagers first. That being G-Axis and Starscream. As you can see, G-Axis stands pretty even with him, maybe even a little bit over him, and he's also a Voyager class. But if you do put the Armada Starscream, which is also a Voyager class, he is a little bit smaller. And eventually, I'm sure we're going to get more Starscreams down the line, ones that are a little bit more comparable. It doesn't really bother me. I do love these jet figures. I think they look really cool. Anything that kind of their alt mode is some sort of flying vehicle, I really enjoy. The one thing I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I wish came with some of these, and I know they'll never will, is like little flight stands for the alt modes being flying vehicles. I think that'd be a really nice addition if, you know, Hasbro was feeling generous and they didn't want to add it to paint apps or the little gap covers. I think those would be really cool. All right, guys, we are going to get Metalhawk actually transformed, and we're going to review the alt mode of him. So, guys, please stay tuned. All right, guys, now that we have Metalhawk completely transformed, boy, is this an awesome alt mode, man. I remember when I had seen this guy first pop up on Hasbro Pulse, I was like, man, I got to get my hands on him. And I went to Big Bad Toy Store, got him, and came not too much longer later. And boy, this guy is cool. If you guys are interested in a alt mode transformer that's a flying one, I highly recommend this guy. He is a Voyager, so he is going to be at that Voyager price point, which I believe is like around 30 or 40 bucks, give or take. You know, with the price of inflation, they're probably only going to go up. But it looks really cool. I'm not exactly sure what this is supposed to be. I think it might be F-16 kind of. Yeah, not F-22 because that's, I think, the Raptor. I think this is the F-16, kind of the older version. But it looks really, really nice. And as you can see here, the titanium saber does go right on the top. And the little like blasters go to the side that make a couple more winglets, what I think was really great. Just be careful. Oh, just be careful, guys, when you are actually transforming this this guy, because I did accidentally bend the plastic there on one of the fins, and it looks the plastic's definitely stressed, and it's just kind of hanging there like a hangnail, and I just took it off. So not a big deal, but every once in a while you're gonna chip one of your transformers, and unfortunately it's one of the cooler ones. But I do really, really love this action figure. I can't tell which way I am going to display him, whether it be the alt mode or the robot mode. But overall, it looks really great. From the front, you see a couple gaps there, but from the top, doesn't look too bad. And on the bottom, you can basically see that he isn't too much different than his actual robot mode, being the torso, the arms, the legs. A couple things are folded in, and the wings themselves are folded out. So not a very, very hard transformation. Just be careful when you guys are doing it. But guys, like always, if you did like this content, please like and subscribe. And there will be some action shots here in a second. So stay tuned for those. And I will catch you guys next time on Pimp Daddy Destro. Take care, guys.